students, a very good morning to you all. So today we are going to learn a very interesting short story, Ranga's Marriage, written by Masi Venkatesha Iyengar. So this story, it revolves around Ranga, the accountant's son, who got the opportunity to go out of the village to study for his higher studies. So the narrator, he takes you through a journey where he changes Ranga's perception about marriage and how he staged their union with the help of a sastri and what role English has played in their village. So the entire story, it involves funny incidents and reference for the narrator, and it will make your mind stays occupied with the story. So now we'll move on to the lesson. Ranga, the accountant's son, is one of the rare breed among the village folk who has been to the city to pursue his studies. When he returns to his village from the city of Bangalore, the crowd mills round his house to see whether he has changed or not. His ideas about marriage are not now quite different, or are they? So rare breed means a person or a thing with uncommon characteristics. And in this paragraph, this lesson, it revolves around Ranga, the village accountant's son, who had just come back from Bangalore. So at the news of his arrival, the villagers, they gather at his home to know whether if he has changed or not and what his perception about marriage and all. So everyone were so excited because during those days, not everyone used to get a chance to go to cities for higher studies. When you see this title, some of you may ask, Ranga's Marriage? Why not Ranganatha's Vivah or Ranganatha Vijaya? Well, yes, I know I could have used some other mouth-filling one like Jagannatha Vijaya or Girija Kalyana. But then, this is not about Jagannatha's victory or Girija's wedding. It is about our own Ranga's marriage, and hence no fancy title. Hoshali is our village, you must have heard of it. No? What a pity. But it is not your fault. There is no mention of it in any geography book. Those sahibs in England, writing in English, probably do not know that such a place exists, and so make no mention of it. Our own people too forget about it. You know how it is, they are like flock of sheep. One sheep walks into a pit, the rest blindly follow it. When both the sahibs in England and our own geographers have not referred to it, you cannot expect the poor cartographer to remember to put it on the map, can you? And so there is not even the shadow of a village on any map. So here the narrator, he expects the readers to be questioning the simplicity of the title, Ranga's Marriage. So he feels that the readers might be thinking of fancy titles like Ranganatha Vivah or Ranganatha Vijaya or Girija Kalyana. So he clarifies that although he had opinions of keeping such elaborate names, the reason why he chose the basic and casual one is because the story is about our Ranga, as in someone who is very close and dear to him. So they live in a village called Hoshali in Mysore. So not so many people know the place named Hoshali, and the narrator, he does not blame them because there is no trace of it in the geography books. So even the Englishmen have no idea about the place, but they are also not to blame because our citizens too, they are completely ignorant about his village. So he refers to the people as sheep who blindly follow each other and do not use their logic or their brain to justify or to invent a few things. So at last he feels that the cartographer is also not to be held responsible. As a result, so finally there is no trace of their village on the map. Sorry, I started somewhere and then went off in another direction. If the state of Mysore is to Bharatavarsha what the sweet Karigadabu is to a festival meal, then Hoshali is to Mysore state what the filling is to the Karigadabu. What I have said is absolutely true, believe me. I will not object to your questioning it, but I will stick to my opinion. I am not the only one who speaks glowingly of Hoshali. We have a doctor in our place. His name is Gandapata. He agrees with me. He has been to quite a few places. No, not England. If anyone asks him whether he has been there, he says, no, Annaya, I have left that to you. Running around like a flea-pested dog is not for me. I have seen a few places in my time though. As a matter of fact, he has seen many. Bharatavarsha means India, and Karigadabu means a South Indian fried sweet filled with coconut and sugar. And Annaya means it's a respectful term for an elder. Mostly they used to call Annaya for an elder brother. So flea-pestered dog means not to stick in one place, but they'll be keep roaming everywhere. So here in this paragraph, the narrator, he feels apologetic for not carried away and deviating from the topic. So he was talking so many different random things in the previous paragraph, so he was feeling apologetic for that. He then again throws light about the significance, the importance of the village Hoshali, and he says that it is just as important as Mysore to India and Kariga Dabu to a festive meal, and filling is to Kariga Dabu. And thus he cannot highlight its importance anymore. Not only him, but the doctor, there was a doctor named Gandhabata, he also feels the same like him. So the doctor has been to many places except England, but he still loves Hoshali. However, an outsider, they might contest this, but the narrator claims to stick to his opinion of that place. We have some mango trees in our village. Come visit us, and I will give you a raw mango from one of them. Do not eat it, just take a bite. The soreness is sure to go straight to your Brahmarandra. I once took one such fruit home, and a chutney was made out of it. All of us ate it. The cough we suffered from after that, it was when I went for the cough medicine that the doctor told me about the special quality of the fruit. Brahmarandra in Canada, it's a soft part in a child's head where skull bones join later. So here it's used as the idiomatic expression to convey that extreme potency of soreness. So in Sanskrit, Brahmarandra means the whole of Brahman. It's a dwelling house of a human soul. So here in this paragraph, he then tells the reader about their special mango trees in the village, whose mangoes are famous for their special quality. So he once took the fruit to their home to make chutney, and everyone suffered from a very bad cough after eating it. So it was only when he went to see the doctor, he told him about the quality of mangoes of Hoshali. The narrator, he asks the readers to take a bite and assures that the soreness of the mango will be felt by them till the top of their head, where the Brahmarandra is located. Just as the mango is special, so is everything else around our village. We have a creeper growing in the ever so fine water of the village pond. Its flowers are a feast to behold. Get 2 leaves from the creeper when you go to the pond for your bath, and you will not have to worry about not having leaves on which to serve the afternoon meal. You will say, I am rambling. It is always like when the subject of our village comes up, but enough. If any one of you would like to visit us, drop me a line. I will let you know where Hoshali is and what things are like here. The best way of getting to know a place is to visit. Don't you agree? So behold means see or observe, and rambling means a lengthy or confused speech or writing something. So not only the mango, so everything in and around in this village is remarkable according to the narrator. So there was a creeper growing in the pond and its flowers are also special, and one can even serve an afternoon meals on its leaves like banana leaves. All you need to do is to grab 2 leaves when you're way to the pond to bathe. So after speaking highly of his village, the narrator, he says that if anyone wishes to see for himself or herself, one must contact him, and he will help them to reach Hoshali. And also he feels that there is no better way to know a place than to visit the place in real. What I am going to tell you is something that happened 10 years ago. We did not have many people who knew English then. Our village accountant was the first one who had enough courage to send his son to Bangalore to study. It is different now. There are many who know English. During the holidays, you come across them on every street talking in English. Those days, we did not speak in English, nor we did bring in English words while talking in Kannada. What has happened is disgraceful, believe me. The other day, I was in Ramarava's house when they brought a bundle of firewood. Ramarava's son came out to pay for it. He asked the woman, how much should I give you? 4 pieces, she said. The boy told her he did not have any change and asked her to come the next morning. The poor woman did not understand the English word change and went away muttering to herself. I too did not know. Later, when I went to Ranga's house and asked him, I understood what it meant. So now the narrator, he brings out a comparison as how things were different 10 years ago when not many people knew or spoke English. So So neither did the people send their children to big cities like Bangalore to study. So back then only the village accountant, he had the courage. He sent his son to Bangalore. So according to the author, according to the narrator, those times were very simpler, and he justifies his claim by telling an incident where when he was at Ramarava's house, and they had just bought a bundle of firewood from an old lady. So Rama, he told her to come next morning, as he did not have any change at the moment in his hands. So the poor lady, she did not know what change meant, and she was not able to understand the English word. So she went away whispering to herself. So the narrator also, he didn't know the meaning of that word change, and only when he went to Ranga's house, he told him, and he got to know the meaning of the word, English word change. This priceless commodity, the English language, was not so widespread in our village a decade ago. That was why Ranga's homecoming was a great event. People rushed to his doorstep, announcing the accountant's son has come. The boy who had gone to Bangalore for his studies is here, it seems. And come, Ranga is here. Let's go and have a look. So however, 10 years ago, English was not commonly spoken in that village, and when the villagers came to know that Ranga, the son of the accountant, was coming home from Bangalore, so everyone got excited and they rushed to his home to have a glance at him, to look at the person, how he came back from a nearby place, from a foreign place. It's like a abroad place to them. It's a big city. So everyone got excited and they rushed to his home to have a glance at him. Attracted by the crowd, I too went and stood in the courtyard and asked, why have all these people come? There is no performing monkey here. A boy, a fellow with any brains, said loud enough for everyone to hear, what are you doing here then? A youngster, immature and without any manners, thinking that all these things were now of the past, I kept quiet. So he was also fascinated by all the crowd and the narrator too, and he went there and he asked the people why they were gathered here, and because he couldn't see anything through the crowd. So some entertaining, he was asking that there is no entertaining happening like monkey performing, and a boy without brains. The boy was described here as without brains. So a boy without brains, he shouted loud enough for everyone to hear, and in a rude way, and the narrator, he calls him very immature. Seeing so many people there, Ranga came out with a smile on his face. Had we all gone inside, the place would have turned into what people call the black hole of Calcutta. Thank God it did not. Everyone was surprised to see that Ranga was the same as he had been 6 months ago when he had first left our village. An old lady who was near to him ran her hand over his chest, looked into his eyes and said, the Janivara is still there. He hasn't lost his caste. She went away soon after that. Ranga laughed. So Janivara means in Canada the sacred thread owned by the Brahmins. So all the people were waiting outside Ranga's house because the place would look like a black hole of Calcutta if they all went inside. So by saying this, the narrator, he means that there were so many people that the house would have fallen short to accommodate all of them inside the house. So thus Ranga, he came outside with a smile on his face, and everyone were so amazed to see that Ranga had not changed a bit after he left 6 months ago. So an old lady suddenly she came in front of Ranga, and she rubbed her hands through his chest to check for a sacred thread. So however, she went away after confirming that he had not forgotten about his caste. Once they realized that Ranga still had the same hands, legs, eyes and nose, the crowd melted away, like a lump of sugar in a child's mouth. I continued to stand there. After everyone had gone, I asked, how are you, Rangappa? Is everything well with you? It was only that Ranga noticed me. He came near me and did a namaskara respectfully, saying, I'm all right with your blessings. So once the villagers realized that Ranga did not change even after moving to a modern city, and they disappeared. They started moving and fast as a lump of sugar does in a child's mouth. So the narrator, he waited till the crowd cleared and he asked him about his well-being. So Ranga, then he noticed him and he replied with full respect in a traditional way. He did the namaskara in a traditional way and he replied him. So Ranga had not noticed the narrator in the crowd before that moment. I must draw your attention to this aspect of Ranga's character. He knew when it would be this advantage to talk to someone and rightly assess people's worth. As far as Namaskara to me, he did not do it like any present day boy with his head up towards the sun, standing stiff like a pole without joints, jerking his body as if was neither a wand or a walking stick. Nor did he merely fold his hands, he bent low to touch my feet. May you get married soon, I said, blessing him. After exchanging a few pleasantries, I left. So Ranga, he was very well-behaved person and well aware as to who could benefit him. So he was one of those who could analyze something's worth rightfully. He greeted the narrator, he bent low and touched his feet, seeking his blessings. So it was not like the present day Namaskara where the other children would do it casually without a proper way. So it was when he did the Namaskara, it was a proper and traditional one. So the narrator, he blessed him and blessed him that he might get married very soon, and he left the place. That afternoon, when I was resting, Ranga came to my house with a couple of oranges in his hand. A generous, considerate fellow. It would be a fine thing to have him marry, settle down, and to be a service to society, I thought. For a while we talked about this and that, and then I came to the point. Rangappa, when do you plan to get married? I'm not going to get married now, he said. Why not? I need to find the right girl. I know an officer who got married only 6 months ago. He's about 30 and his wife is 25, I am told. They will be able to talk lovingly to each other. Let's say I married a very young girl. She may take my words spoken in love as words spoken in anger. Recently, a troupe in Bangalore staged the play Shakuntala. There is no question of Dushyanta falling in love with Shakuntala if she were young, like the present day brides, is there. What would have happened to Kalidasa's play? If one gets married, it should be a girl who is mature. Otherwise, one should remain a bachelor. That's why I'm not marrying now. Troupe means a group of dancers or actors or other entertainers who tour different venues. So that afternoon, Ranga visited the author with a few oranges in his hands, and the narrator, he thought that he was quite thoughtful of him. So thinking of how nice Ranga is, the author, he thought that it would be very nice to have him married to a girl just as nice as him. So they chatted for a while, and then the narrator, he asked Ranga about his views on getting marriage. So now Ranga, he expressed that he doesn't intend on marrying now because he intends on finding the right girl. And he also sets the example of an officer who got married at the age of 30 to a woman aged 25. So now since they are both adults, they would be able to understand each other's actions and behavior. So whereas the narrator, he finds a girl who is very young, she could misunderstand his words or actions because she will not be mature enough to understand that. So he even mentions the love story of Shakuntala and Dushyanta from old fables from Mahabharata, and that he would not have fallen in love with Shakuntala if she were too young. So in that case, Kalidasa's plays would also have not existed, and he says that that is why he intends on staying bachelor till he finds the right girl. Is there any other reason a man should marry a girl he admires? What we have now are arranged marriages. How can one admire a girl with milk stains on one side of her face and wetness on the other, or so young that she doesn't even know how to bite her fingers? One a neem fruit, the other a bitter gourd. Exactly, Ranga said, laughing. I was distressed that the boy, who I thought would make a good husband, had decided to remain a bachelor. After chatting for a little longer, Ranga left. I made up my mind right then that I would get him married. Ramarao was nice, a pretty girl of 11, had come to stay with him. She was from a big town, so she knew how to play the veena and the harmonium. She also had a sweet voice. Both her parents had died and her uncle had brought her home. Ranga was just the boy for her and she the most suitable bride for him. So here the narrator, he introduces us to a new character in the story named Ratna. So she's 11 years old and this Ramarao was nice. So she lost both her parents. So her uncle, he brought her from a big town to his home with him, and she had a very great voice and could play harmonium and veena. So the narrator thought that Ranga and Ratna would make a great pair, and he made up his mind that he would get him married finally. So for today we'll stop with this, and in the next class we'll see the second part of the story. So tomorrow we'll see whether the Ranga's perception about marriage has changed, or whether he got married to Ratna or not. I hope you all understood the first part of this lesson. Thank you so much for watching. Have a great day.